What is up, guys? It's Rome. Here in this video I will show you in 5 steps how to improve and become a god at healing in PvP. So stay tuned. Step number 1, Keybinds, macros and add-on. Now, first of all, you need to have the add-on Gladius. This is written like this. Gladius, so download that add-on. Make sure you get used to it. It's super useful. It's a nice add-on. It works very well. It is an arena add-on. So for arena, use this add-on. If you're more of a rated BG or just simple battlegrounds, I recommend using the add-on Battleground Targets. This add-on looks like this when you're in battlegrounds. On the right side, this is the add-on. You can set it up and customize it to your own preference. So this is a must-have for rated battleground. It is you really need to have it. Gladius, it's not a must-have, but it's definitely useful to have it. Now for keybinds, keybinds are really important. So first of all, you're not obligated to copy my exact keybinds. All you need to do is be able to do whatever you have to do without clicking with your mouse. So first of all, I recommend using the 1 to 5 buttons on your keyboard as they are. Then you can use other keybinds like number F, C, V, G, and then if you're out of keybinds, you can use the Shift and then press another key. So Shift F, Shift X, Shift 1, Shift 2, Shift 4. So this is gonna make you able to keybind all your spells and in an efficient way that is much faster than clicking on your spells. When you're at a top level PvP, you cannot be clicking. You really need to be fast and efficient at what you do, because these little seconds that you're gonna waste can decide whether your partner lives or dies. And you can just make mistakes by clicking on the wrong spells. So it is very important to have a good setup of keybinds. So this is how I keybind my stuff. I use the Shift and numbers, Shift and letters, and 1 to 5 buttons. I also have the Razor Naga. If you have a mouse that has many buttons, it's really useful to use them. Once you get used to it, it's crazy good. It makes a huge difference. Like when I'm without my Razor Naga mouse, I feel like I'm missing one hand. It's an handicap. But when you're getting used to it, you cannot play without it after that. So I really recommend having a good gaming mouse with the buttons on the sides like this. Now, when you're healer, you want to target you want to have keybinds assigned to your party members. Okay, so how do you do that? You go into keybinds, targeting, target party member, and target self. So you want to keybind a target self, target party member, so that you don't have to click on them to heal them. So how I do that on the Razor is my 3 last buttons here are myself, party 1, party member number 1, party member number 2. So when I'm in the 3v3, this is me, the other guy, and the other. So this is how I target my heals. I use these 3. So once you get used to it, it's really useful. If you don't have a mouse like this, some people use the scrolling. Every mouse has one, so this is universal. So if you wanna target yourself, you can push on your on the scroll. If you want to target, for example, party number 1, you can scroll up. If you want to target party number 2, you can scroll down. So you can use this scroll here to assign target keybinds. This is another tip that I recommend, but I really prefer going with the one to with these buttons on the side for the targeting party. Now for targeting enemies, what I usually do is I do the same as targeting my allies, but instead of just doing the numbers, I do the same tree there, but with shift. So shift this. So I press on shift and I press the button. Shift 10, shift 11, shift 12 on the razor. You can do if you have other buttons, you can, the same works. But so I just do the shift. I just press shift before pressing on the button. So it's good for your mind because you know that these 3 buttons are to target allies or enemies, and it's pretty much the same. It's just gonna be very useful for assigning your focus targets. So I don't target people, I focus them. So when I focus, I focus my enemies. Allies, I don't focus allies, but enemies, the focus target is very useful. So I assign focus arena 1, 2, 3 on these buttons. This will make you able to CC with that macro without having to change your target that you're healing. So if you're, so this is the macro, cast. So this is a macro. Cast, target, focus, and then the name of the spell. So this will make you able to, for example, if this dungeon trainee is my focus, you see, he said at focus. In arena, I just have to do shift and the button that I assigned on my keybinds. But here, I'm just gonna right click it and do it. So here's my keybind, and if I'm healing this guy, I can just my macro that I made. Here, I assigned it on the keybind F, so I can heal. And when I want to CC, press F, and it didn't change my healing target. So it's very useful. Makes it way quicker. You don't have to swap back to your allies after landing your CC each time. So this is very useful. So in arena, you want to set up your focus target as the guy that you're going to CC. And if you want to switch up really quick, you can just focus another one with the shift and the other button. So switch your focus up to whoever you want to target, and then you're pretty much set. So this is how I keybind my stuff. It's pretty simple. There's a lot more complicated keybinds, but I prefer keep it simple and intuitive. And I find that this is very intuitive, so I recommend using this setup, especially for beginners. It's complicated if you never used keybinds, but this is one of the simplest way to get used to it, and it's very efficient. I got to high ratings with this setup on a voice like Curse or Skype. I recommend those two because you don't need to press buttons to talk, and in arenas you need to talk a lot, so you need those voice. Communication is what's one of the most important thing in arenas. It's because this is how there's a synergy within your team. If you don't communicate, it's much harder to land kills or to survive. But when you learn to communicate as a healer, you can tell your teammates if they're out of sighting you and they need to come back. You can tell your teammates if you're in a CC chain and you need help, or you just can't heal them and they know that they need to pop a defensive, or you can tell your teammate that you have their back so they don't over blow defensive, and because they don't know if you have their back or not. If you tell them that you have, they will know, and it's very useful to have good communication within a team. If you check pro arenas, they talk a lot. There's a lot of things going on, lots of energy. It's not passive. There's no moments of silence. They talk and they let everyone know what's going on. Okay, I'm popping burst. Okay, I'm getting CC'd. Okay, I'm gonna CC this guy. Okay, go, kill. Be careful. Okay, retreat. So these are the kind of things that you hear in arena matches. And as a healer, you also need to have awareness of what's going on. Not only you need to know the HP of your allies, if they're dying or not. You need to check on that, but you also need to check on the enemies. Don't tunnel vision on only healing your allies. You need to know if an enemy is about to die, and you can land a CC that on the healer that's gonna make your ally is able to land a kill. If you just tunnel vision on your allies and you don't look at what's going on in the overall match, you will be pretty much useless. Yes, you will keep your teammates alive, but if you can also contribute on the CCs or on the damage, it makes a huge difference. And lots of healers focus only on the healing part, but it's really important to be aware and to be more offensive, or even, you know, using CC as defensive, which I will talk in the other steps. So a healer needs good awareness and good communication. If you're in trouble, you need to tell it. You need to talk to your teammates, let them know whatever's going on. You need to tell everything that's going on, so they know. They can't just guess. DPS usually they will focus on just killing their target using CCs, and if you tell them to help you, or if you tell them to come back, they will do it, but they won't do it if you don't tell them. You need to tell them. So you need to have good leadership and know what's going on, and this comes with practice. So step number 3 needs a lot of practice. Once you get used to talking while playing, and really, you know, sometimes in a moment where it's really intense, you won't be talking as much, but once you get used to talk while healing, it makes a big difference. And this comes just with practice. It's that simple. Step number 4, survive and positioning. Alright, so now for surviving and positioning, I will talk about them on my monk, but the concepts are pretty much the same for every healers. First of all, you must not stand still if you're getting attacked. Make sure to always move and kite. Each class are able to kite in their own unique ways. Monks, for example, have the chi torpedoes, the transcendence, which is very useful. You must use it to its own potential. Don't forget about it. It's one of the key aspects of the monk in arenas. Make sure to set up your transcendence near pillars or at spots that you're gonna go if you're in trouble, or to dodge CCs. So that's surviving for monks, and for other classes it's pretty much the same. Don't stand still, kite, okay, and heal and ask for help. Now positioning, having a good positioning will help you to survive, will help your teammates to survive, because with a good positioning you won't be CC'd as much. You will be able to dodge those CCs. So first of all, a simple trick with positioning is don't stand in the open. Never go unless you have no choice or you can land a kill. So with going into the open. So if you see that they are going down and you need to go in the open to do a AoE fear or to do a leg sweep or whatever, you can go in the open, but make sure that once you did what you had to do, go back to your positioning. Go back to your pillar or your boxes. These are the spots that you want to stay, and you must let your teammates know that if they go too far, they must come back, unless they are able to land a kill. But if they go too far, they will make you have to move out of your safe spot, and you will be much vulnerable to CCs. So don't be too aggressive. Don't push too far, because sometimes this will make you as a healer have to step out in the open, and this will make you in a dangerous spot. So having a good positioning, it's pretty much being out of sight from the enemies, while still being able to heal when you need to. So for example, if this is a pillar, this tree, and my allies are just there fighting, I don't want to be healing here like this in the open. I always want to be near the tree, step out to heal, and then go back. And this is just rinse and repeat. So you can step out in the open, but if you see that there's a mage or something and he's about to cast a CC on you, go back there. So that's why awareness is so important. You need to know what's going on, so that when you have good positioning, you can dodge those things. You can dodge those CCs. Because if you fight like right here in the open, you won't be able to dodge anything, and they will be able to either CC you very hard or switch on you and kill you. So positioning relies on staying out of sight from your enemy's spells and CCs, while only going out to land your heals and go back. This is pretty much it. It's simple but complicated at the same time, because your teammates must be careful to not overextend on their aggressiveness. If they are too aggressive and they push and fight very far, you will need to go out in the open and reposition yourself on the opposite pillar, for example. And while you do this transition, you might get CC'd, and this could be very dangerous for your team. And my final step is who, when, and how to CC. Now for our last step, it's all about CCs. First of all, you need to know when to CC. I recommend not using your CC just for the fact of CCing. You need to set up a CC chain with your teammates. So if you see that they're going hard and they're bursting on a target, and that target is dropping low, then one of the DPS will probably CC the healer, and then make sure that when that healer is done, when he's not CC'd, make sure to now apply that CC, and this is how you will land a kill. You need to set up those CCs. Don't CC when there's nothing going on and there's no pressure. If you need to CC when there's a good pressure, when your allies are applying good pressure and there's an opportunity to land that kill. Now, having that awareness of what's going on, this is how you're gonna accomplish it. And with good communication, you will know when to CC. You will know when those opportunities arise. So always stay in touch, and don't just CC for the fact of CC. You're gonna waste it, and when there's a good opportunity, you won't have your CC available. So make sure to CC only when you see an opportunity to get a kill, or to just make your enemies use cooldowns. This is very useful too. You don't have to kill your target right away. Often in good arenas, the games will last long, and you will win by by making your enemies pop more cooldowns than your team. And this will most of the time be accomplished by having a good CC chain, because they will have to pop trinket, they will have to pop bubbles because they were CC'd and they couldn't heal, and they almost died, so they need to pop CC, they need to pop defensive. So this is how it is accomplished. Also, as a healer, when you CC, sometimes it's better to CC a DPS instead of healing like crazy and burning through your manas and cooldown. If your teammates are not gonna land a kill and there's no opportunity, and your team is suffering a lot of damage, and you're having to deal with lots of pressure, it is very useful to CC a DPS. You shouldn't always CC the healer and try to get the kill. If your team is under a lot of pressure, you should. It's more efficient to land a good CC on DPS than having to heal through that DPS, because when it's CC'd, you cannot do damage, and you don't have to heal through that damage. So a defensive CC is very useful too. So make sure to know when you need to land an offensive CC to try to get a kill if there's an opportunity. But if your team doesn't have an opportunity to kill and you're suffering a lot of pressure, then use your CCs on a DPS target. So with the keybinds that I told you, set up those focus, change that focus onto a DPS, and instead of being on the healer. So this is pretty much it for the CCs. Just know when to CC offensively or defensively, and don't waste your CC just for the fact of CCing.